I was gonna say we're friends from way back, and
Yeah.
so pretend this one's not
Yeah,
here,
'cause I'm
right?
just gonna get hands.
So we're rolling, so we can start
rolling.
anytime. All right. Hi, my name's Chris Varanian, and I'm with the All Guitar Network, and this is one of my best friends in the whole world, and bass player extraordinaire, Carmine Rojas.
And a bridesmaid.
Oh yeah, you bridesmaid, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We shouldn't go there.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that out today. So I've known Carmine for well over 20 years. Most of it we can't talk about, not on camera. But the way you got started, you've been playing bass for how long now?
Professionally would be 1972. That's when I got paid.
How did you get started?
Oh, man. Venturing out of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't really have a choice. You were either going that direction or you were going to go that direction. At that point in Brooklyn, I mean, there was a lot of music. To be honest with you, we had a lot of R&B, we had a lot of Latin, because it was a mixed Puerto Rican black neighborhood. And then we had growing up into music, the Who came and the Stones came and the Beatles came, and that got mixed up all together in one big ass stew. Sorry, am I allowed to curse?
It's okay.
Okay, one big stew, one big beautiful stew with the English invasion, with the Latin and the R&B. The Latin and R&B turned into boogaloo music in the early '70s. So I was lucky to be around all that kind of combination of different kinds of music. It was beautiful, and that's how I ventured into much more into the English thing, much more into blending my style of music into the English, which was and they were a lot more. The English bands were very much into the American bands. They wanted if they can have a black rhythm section or an R&B rhythm section, and not all R&B bands were black. There were white ones too. Coming from Stax. Coming from Memphis, those guys were absolute stunning players too. So
there's no real blueprint. You just went with it.
I just kind of went with it, went with what I liked, and this is the way I felt, and kind of hopefully was hoping that maybe it might lead to something.
Who did you go out on stage with the first time in front of a big audience?
Professionally, would have been LaBelle, Patti LaBelle.
It's a good way to start.
Yeah, LaBelle was my really complete breaking into the industry, breaking into the business. We auditioned for her. There was like 50 bands, and we actually won the audition. A band called Buff, and we were a mixture because LaBelle wanted a mixture of a band that sounded like Santana, War, and the Jeff Beck Group. She wanted like okay, we're perfect for that.
Yeah.
We wore velvet pants and leather snakeskin boots and big old afros. So we were a complete combination of all that stuff. And we were perfect for them because that's what LaBelle wanted. They wanted a rock band that could play the English stuff and wanted the R&B to play the gospel and really R&B stuff. And back then the R&B was like really throw down and play.
Funky.
Funky bass patterns and drummers, and you were really, everything had to have a swing and a groove to it. So they loved it that we were all part of that growing up.
A hell of a way to start.
Yeah, I would say very fortunate to be at the right place at the right time with them, because with them, their manager was Vicky Wickham, who used to run Ready Steady Go in England, big TV program.
Okay.
So she was friends with Brian Jones and Mick Jagger and Elton John and Clapton. She was friends with all those guys because she knew all those, from the TV show. And they would come to the show, or we would be supporting the bands, like we supported the Who in '76 at Gator Bowl Stadium. So stuff like that was very. I was very fortunate to be around.
You were a
stuff.
kid. You were thrown in the deep end.
You had to swim or die.
Yeah.
That was the code back then. Swim or die. Yeah. 19 when I left.
So you go straight from there. You're playing your opening for the Who, and then what's next?
Just trying to float, and I moved to Philly for a lot of years and ended up doing a lot of Philadelphia stuff, playing at Sigma Studios, working there, doing some sessions, working with different bands, because Philadelphia had a bunch of unique bands too. And there used to be a group called the Nas, which is Todd Rundgren's old band.
Yeah.
And I was a big fan. So, they were still playing around, and early Hall & Notes. And they were in the process of really merging and making all different kinds of music, blending together, which I always love. You can blend world music with R&B, with everything. And I always believe that you can do all of it. Then one day I saw Yes at the Spectrum, and that completely blew my mind. Chris Squire was like, how the hell did he get that sound, that tone, with a pick? Because I remember Paul McCartney doing it in the early days, and John Entwistle was doing it. But to see someone live do it consistently and being very musical was absolutely blew my mind, that you can do that. I said, I want to do that. I want to learn how to figure out how he does that. You know, I mean, years later, we ended up meeting up and hanging out and being friends. And
Several nights.
yeah.
Right.
We can't talk about that, but you know,
No, that's a whole other
that's
thing.
Another chapter,
Yeah.
a deep chapter called Hang.
Yeah.
But no, I ended up still involving myself with the international bands, English bands, and all the English bands wanted American players. All the English bands were moving to New York or somewhere in the East Coast, like the Stones and Brian Ferry and Steve Winwood. In Excess, the Australian bands would be coming up and using American players, and we were at the right time at the right place, which is how Bowie came into the scene and wanted urban players. And myself and Tony Thompson from Chic, Omar Hakim, you know, we all grew up together in rival rock bands all over, you know, from the Bronx to Eddie Martinez. You know, there was a gang of us. But that's how Bowie wanted. He wanted the rhythm section to be an urban bunch.
Bunch of ringers.
Well, we were kids. You know, we were ringers yet, but we were going out. We were
Future
developing.
ringers.
Future ringers. We were developing to be that, but because we really wanted to be able to play with everybody. And David really allowed us to do what we do naturally, so it was great. I came in for one song and ended up doing the whole album except for one tune, which is Bernard Edwards, bless him, who was another great fan, another great
You came in
friend.
to do one song and you left in '88.
I left in '88, right?
Sounds like one of
I
our
didn't leave.
parties.
It's just David changed because David was always changing.
Yeah.
But I was there for 2 massive world tours, and you know they were like 11 months long and 14 months long, and 3 EMI albums. You know, from the Let's Dance to the Blue Jean, the next album, which we had Loving the Alien on it track, and then the last one's Glass Spider Tour.
So you had Stevie Ray in the studio with you.
Yeah, first time meeting him.
That must have been interesting.
It was strange because we kind of never heard of him, but I think it was a conversation where David actually wanted Albert King, but it didn't work out. We got together in '83, so this was '82, summer of '82. Keith Richards turned David onto Stevie. And
Yeah, I think he saw him at the Monterey Jazz Festival or something.
Exactly, and he was blown away by it and just kind of kept his name in the books because Bowie was a big guitar freak hero. He wanted kind of a guitar player who would play like Jeff Beck. He always wanted Jeff Beck in the band. Mick Ronson was absolutely brilliant. Mick Ronson was absolutely stunning. Errol Slick, all the guitar players he had, it's always been, you know, Adrian Belew, absolutely fantastic, Robert Fripp. But he always wanted like a Jeff Beck kind of a guy, and Mick Ronson was the guy
Yeah.
at the time. So couldn't get Albert King, so David actually got Stevie Ray to come in. But Stevie wasn't used to playing in a session. So whenever we were trying to formulate a song or do parts or whatever, you know, you could see he felt lost. So kind of a kingship. We all kind of look, let's take a lot of stuff out. Let's just have keys, drums, and bass, and treat a track like a blues track, which is true. If you make the tracks naked, they're pretty bare.
Yeah.
You know, Let's Dance, it's a groove track in B flat. So China Girls, it's in, you know, a rock kind of a tune, which is right up his alley. So if you make the tracks naked, so he's able to see it, and I know his ability is a lot wider, but he was at that point he was kind of investigating himself, and just pulled off the solo. We were kind of blown away that the tone was Albert and Jimmy, which we love and grew up with,
Yeah.
and he owned it. He was a real deal, man. He was completely the real deal. There was nothing fake
lucky.
about him. There was nothing him trying to copy something. He captured the soul, the spirit, and the hands, which is really the most important. His hands were absolutely stunning on all the licks, like China Girl licks. The solo section is absolutely stunning. The solo section he does on Cat People. The Let's Dance thing was like a trademark. Because people go, oh, how did Albert King get on the session? But no, it's Stevie. But Stevie put his own little twist on it too. He was on fire.
Very original.
Yeah, very original. I mean, yeah, blessed. He was very blessed. And it was a right timing of all those things merging together. And we, at the time, we're going, really? Blues guitar solo on this kind of a song, Let's Dance song? I said, wow. I said, I don't know how this is going to work. But David always, he sees already. His perspective, he already knows it's going to go this way. And he's so good at that kind of stuff, you know. You can put odd stuff.
He was quite the visionary.
Yeah, completely. He was absolutely genius. And then when it came out, especially with Bob Claremont mixing, you know, the engineer with Bob Claremont, it just sounded absolutely stunning. So it sounded like us in the room, live in a room, which is sometimes you don't get that when you do a session. It just sounds like, it doesn't sound like us, you know. That's not how it went down.
Yeah.
But it went down exactly like that, tone-wise, color-wise.
That's fantastic.
Bless Bob Claymountain for mixing and engineering.
Tell them about the bass line thing on the China Girl story that you told me last week.
Yeah, true story. I've never heard the song China Girl from Iggy Pop's originally. And later on, I figured out there's actually no real bass line, just kind of block notes, mostly that kind of stuff, which is brilliant. Iggy Pop, brilliant song. So I never heard the tune. So when we started cutting it, I'm kind of going, well, shit, what am I going to do here? And and I just kind of went on my own, let loose, like the chorus line. It was just 8 beats of basically. That's what you get. So what I did, I kind of filled up. Now, I was just kind of looking for a rhyme to make the notes fit and make them solid. And I was always looking for mixing the R&B with the rock, taking some swing out of the pattern. So, but originally, when I heard the chord changes like the E minor to D to C, B, I'm thinking, there's a melody in my head that I heard that morning, which is a true story. I heard Under My Thumb, which had the same chord changes, but their chord changes were a bar each. Ours in China Girl was 2 bars each, movement-wise. There were 4 beats in the Rolling Stones Under My Thumb. Ours was 8 beats. So, and in the tune, I heard this marimba part, which is going. I never heard that. I've heard the song many times, but I never heard this somebody playing a marimba part going. Wow, that's fucking pretty cool. Because I heard the original bass line and I'm thinking, that's cool. But this marimba part completely mesmerized me. It's a. One more time, I have to remember in my head. Right. That's it. And that's the marimba part. And Brian Jones is playing it. So I was trying to remember that line to put in the China Girl, but it was moving so fast, so I had to find something that'll fit it. So if you hear... so you hear that part, say... And that's the marimba part. So, but I couldn't remember the line. So I was just I said, well, shit, maybe it goes like this. So I just came up with like a school line. Just, and the rest was history. So, and then I went to hear the original Iggy Pop song going, oh, great, there's no bass line there. So I came up with that one. Then I went back to go listen to the Under My Thumb going, oh, shit, that's what the line was. But it was close enough. But I was inspired because of the marimba part that Brian Jones played, which is Brian Jones was just always clever with something. But that's how spirit-wise or, osmosis or
that's
whatever,
cool.
And that's how I was hearing the song, like a Under My Thumb, because that's what it sounded like to me, chord-wise. But it was a little bit different, 4 beats different, but it works.
So you start doing that, and
Yeah.
the next thing you know, you're in stadiums everywhere.
Well, it was
Water Instant Stadium.
It's never right away, but it was almost
Pretty
right away.
close after that.
3 weeks
tour.
later, yeah, I got the thumbs up from David to go to the tour. And Carlos Alama, who's a musical director, gave me a call, and I said, sure. I said, I would love to. I said, well, send me the songs and I'll audition. He said, no, David gave the thumbs up, and I was like blown away, going, wow, that's pretty serious. Because I was, being a Bowie fan too, and the guy gives you a thumbs up, and the rest was. The rest was history at that point. It's like 11-month world tour. The album went, whatever, was 7-time platinum, worldwide, and just...
I was lucky enough to have seen 2 of those shows.
Yeah.
And
It's funny. I
remember
remember the gig, too, when you were talking about Virginia.
Norfolk Scope
Yeah.
and the Capitol Center in D.C.
Yeah, I walked outside. remember taking a walk with some people to see the neighborhood because I'd never been in that area before.
Yeah. Oh, you got to do
Small
that
world.
everywhere.
Yeah.
The US Festival.
Yeah, we came
I
back.
remember you saying y'all flew in.
Yeah, we flew in just to close the US Festival in '83. We flew in in the middle of the European tour. We just flew in to close it and get back. But we had a problem getting back. By the time we got to America, the plane, a private plane that we had, got confiscated. Got taken from us because they found fruit and stuff on the plane. So we weren't sure how we were going to get back to get to the Belgium gig. So somehow, I guess money and power and politics.
Maybe they found a plane without fruit.
What kind of fruit you talking about?
I'm not
I
sure.
meant fruit. I'm talking about
I understand. I understand this is
couple
code for
bananas,
what? Yeah.
coconuts, bananas.
That'll make any tour stop.
That old fruit, yeah. But no, it was absolutely stunning, and I stayed in touch with a lot of the English bands, and I got to do a lot of sessions with a lot of guys from the UK, a lot of bands from Australia.
Well, didn't you go straight to Julian Lennon right after that?
After '83, yeah. No, after '83, I joined John Waite.
Okay.
84.
With Alan.
Alan Childs and Earl Slick, and Mike Mandel on keyboards. Yeah, we got offered to do that tour, the No Breaks tour,
Okay.
and we had to hit Missing You.
That was huge.
Yeah, and that was a good tour too. So I mean, basically '83, '84, '85, '86, '87. I just stayed out.
85 was Julian, right?
85, '86. Julian
Okay.
Lennon, I was the musical director. I got the team in, and I brought my crew in too, so it was great. The same crew that we used for the Bowie, for the John Waite. I kept the same crew guys, as much as possible. Same team players, the bass player, keyboards, drummer, because they were really good. Those guys were absolutely. It was a great band that we had, and we tried to get them in. I tried to get them into everything as much as possible.
So that was
Whether I
like
got
the
called.
80s.
The 80s bunch,
crew.
yeah, the 80s crew. Louis, there was a lot of stuff in between on
Yeah.
the downtime, which we never really took any sort of downtime.
Doesn't sound like it.
No. We kept busy. Once you were busy, you stayed on the horse as much
Yeah.
as possible because you never know when you're going to fall off the horse to get back on again later on,
You
possibly.
go straight from that, then you got 87 Glass Spider, then all of a sudden
88
you're with Rod Stewart.
Yeah, we got called to audition
For-
for Rod Stewart, Tony Thompson, Eddie Martinez, a bunch of us, Jeff Gollop. It was a great band. That was,
Yeah.
and we kept going back and forth. I mean, there was like 3 auditions. I mean, we flew back to New York, then we got there, and then finally got the gig. They wanted us to move to California. We said no. All the New York guys said, no, we like hanging out here, but we don't really want to live here yet.
That's because of the China Club.
Well, we didn't want to get away from the China Club in New York.
That's
But
another
it was
camera
that was another
story.
story too.
Yeah.
Another book. We just didn't trust. We trusted New York at the time, and we didn't trust anywhere else to go live. We could do UK. Sydney at the time was absolutely brilliant. To be living at, but it was kind of far away. But we didn't trust California. We didn't trust the people that were working there, and managers and agents, and to us it seemed like a.
Well, y'all were a gang.
Yeah, I know, but it was like to us it seemed like a bullshit situation. It wasn't really real. We were real players. We were like we came in to play. We didn't come to look good, look cute.
Yeah.
We did look cute, but we came to play. So there was a big difference. Yeah, and I stayed with Rod from 1988 till 2003 as a musical director.
It's a long time because I remember you rehearsing people. They'd be coming in the building.
Yeah.
You'd rehearse them at the apartment sometimes.
Yeah.
Just that first
True,
initial
yeah,
interview
exactly
anyway.
right, yeah. That's
I'm
another
like, I
story
see
too,
somebody
yeah.
in the lobby. I'm like, you're going to see
Yeah.
Carmine. How did
Yeah.
you know? Just go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would actually, the building was a great building. A lot of bands would be living there. And,
Yeah.
Jason Bonham, his family, his mom, Still a great building. I miss that old building.
That was
I
fun.
don't miss the hangs that much, but I miss the old building.
That's another story.
That's another story.
We're not going on to that.
But no, it's just again, I love what I love and try to protect, health-wise and mind-wise, and just try to stay on top of, because the industry changed so much. So you have to kind of flow with it or play with it. I was never much to kiss ass in the industry or have to dress or look a certain part to be a part of it. If this didn't sell it, then it had to be real for me.
Well, you've never been a poser.
No.
You didn't even like hanging around them.
No, I don't. Maybe for an hour.
That's all
Just
right.
be nice. You have to be nice to the posers.
Only to be nice.
Yeah, so.
But then you go to Bonamassa. How did
Yeah.
that come about? I mean, because that's that's completely different than Bowie
Yeah.
and Rod
I
Stewart.
think a lot of that.
He was a kid.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was and I have to say, I think there was 3 parties involved to help this kid get him out of a blues, get him out of the local blues stuff. So you really have to get. Seemed like the albums or whatever were staying at this level, and Kevin Shirley, I think a lot of the 3 people, Kevin Shirley, you, I have to say thanks to, and Jason Bonham were involved, suggesting for me to come in and do it. Because actually, at that point in time, I wasn't actually doing much of anything, just kind of hanging out, looking, waiting for the next door to open, you know, and to see what was behind that door. And they wanted to really take this kid, because he had the talent and the abilities, to be a lot bigger than playing the, no disrespect to the blues clubs, you know. Just to do festivals, and you know, because he shouldn't have to be stuck doing that, because he's such a great talent. Because you have a lot of blues bands and a lot of traditional bands, and you have to really give respect and shout out to, you know, Jeff Beck and Led Zeppelin, all those bands that brought the stuff back to us so we can respect it and love it. Because we were not respecting and loving it back in the 50s and 60s. It was just you know. It's kind of some R&B shit going on over there, you know.
Yeah.
They brought it back with Rod Stewart and Winwood, Joe Cocker. The love of it, they actually showed us how to appreciate and love it again. So with Joe, we ended up bringing it back to England, because Joe was very much an English guitar player from Free, Roy Gallagher.
Very schooled musician.
Very schooled. And it was just great to kind of turn it around and bring it back, because a lot of the American players weren't thinking that. But Joe was already thinking that, and his abilities to do that was quite amazing.
Well, you helped him go from the clubs to Royal Albert Hall within really a fairly short amount of time.
Yeah, it was
4 years.
It took a lot of us. It took a few of us, Kevin Shirley, myself, Rick Mellick, Bogey Bowles, you know, just to venture through and do these gigs that were available to us. And Joe and the manager, him and Roy, really got a strategy, a marketing plan, and stuck by it, and kept reinvesting themselves. So they're putting the money in their pocket and go and buy cars and get caught up in all the other shenanigans. You know, they really reinvested back in it and stuck to it. But Joe, you can do that. You can follow the market plan, but you got to have a talent.
Yeah.
You got to make people come and buy tickets and put asses on those seats. And Joe had the ability to do that as a spokesman, as a guitar player, and you know, it just kept building and building and building, you know.
He's led the charge for a while now.
Yeah.
You were definitely a part of that foundation.
Helping schools.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been giving it back, which you have to do. You got to give it back. You know, you have to give it back. You could, you know, that kind of power you don't keep to yourself. You share it.
You've done a lot of charity work as well.
Always. I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it right now. That's a joke between us. For me, it's important to still be busy, still be working, doing stuff I love to do, friends I love to play with, finding a new artist, which now I'm trying to help Ryan McGarvey,
Yeah.
a kid from New Mexico, absolutely stunning player, another guitar
Albuquerque,
player,
right?
Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And Joe, Joe took him under his wing, and we both said, you know, go to Europe, you know, break yourself open over there, and then come back to America. So we're using the same kind of plan, same kind of trick.
He's a good player.
Yeah, but for me mentally, I'm just, you know, I love playing. Right now. I've just finished a Bowie celebration tour.
Year number 2.
Yeah, which is great with the alumni. You know, it's not a tribute band. It's with the alumni, with Errol Slick, Mike Garson, Adrian Ballou, Jerry Leonard, guys I've never played with before, Mark Potty. And it's really fantastic to go back, and each one of us have a separate history with David. So we share stories about, you know, David did this, and you remember this, or did he do that for you? You know, and it's beautiful. And then to get up there and play those songs, and they bring back a lot of memories. And we play them with the same energy, same intensity that we did back then.
I mean, between the 5 of you, you've probably done what? Well over 1,000, 1,500 shows with Bowie. Easily.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
You know, who else is going to go keep that alive? Nobody.
This will, and we hopefully this will sustain itself. I mean, we're back out next year again, doing a lot more dates for next year, starting January. And if we can keep this going, it's a great way to give back to David too, because without David, a lot of us, you know, wouldn't be on the map because of, you know, his kindness and giving a thumbs up, and in that way we love giving it back. It's just beautiful, and the songs are classic, and we actually get to show you the way David would write stuff, or where his head was at. You know, he was into Nina Simone, or he was into electronic music. You know, we would show people these are the songs that he loved to play, and we'd perform the songs. And a lot of them, Dave and I never got to do live, so we'd do it for him. You know, but it was classic stuff.
I've seen a couple of them, and it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Absolutely stunning.
Fun night out.
Fun night out.
Yeah.
Good title. Yeah, that's another book. Sorry.
Had a great week last night, didn't we?